can't think of any award that would be more important than to be named Father of the Year. You know, being a father is the most important thing for any man, and I think that it's the changing point always in a man's life, you know, when he becomes a father.
You know, people know him as a great businessman, they know him as a great friend, and he's all that and more. But the most inspiring thing to me is to watch his kids and how they look up to him.
He's special because he's a multitasker and he takes part in being my mom and my dad.
You know, Dylan and Sarah are just really special. You know, I think they take care of me about as much as I take care of them.
You know, I know it's kind of seen as a dark moment, but it was a special moment for me to see the way his concern was for his children, even when he was really banged up himself and had all kinds of physical ailments because of the crash. But the way that he was completely focused on his kids even in those moments. And I'll never forget getting the phone call in the middle of the night. We were out of town when the accident happened, and even then Scott was talking about his kids and how they're doing, and I'm thinking, Scott, how are you doing? And you know, his focus was always on them.
I suppose what I would like to say to you, Scott, is number one, how much I love you and how much I have feel just privileged that you have allowed me to be a part of your family's life. I know it's been hard, but there's also been such beauty along the way. And I really feel like I lost a sister, but I feel confident that she would be so happy and so proud of how you've taken strength from all of the folks that love you and have transformed that into being strong for Sarah and for Dylan. And it just shows. It shows in their happiness, in the joy that they share with others, in every aspect of their life, from their faith to their successes in school and in their extracurricular activities. And all of that comes from the love and from the ability to say, we will go on. And you've done that for them.
I remember, I think it was this last Christmas, we were in Monterey, and there was this bridge, and it had locks on it, like locks of love. And we saw a bridge like that in Paris when we went there, and we really liked it. And we told ourselves when we went back to Paris, like we'd bring a lock of love or whatever. And what people usually do is they lock the lock onto the chain bridge, and they lock it, and then they throw the key into the river. And so in Monterey, they kind of had a bridge going like that. And so we got 2 locks, and we engraved it with my brother Tad and my mom Gabby, and we locked them, and then we threw the keys into the river.
Most people, whenever they go through what Scott and really the whole Humpal family's gone through, it's pretty easy for a guy to lose his wife in such a tragic accident like they did, turn around a little under a year later and lose his oldest boy, to just shake their fists at God and say, I'm done with this. But week in and week out, here I see Scott and the kids on the front row at church, worshiping God. Rather than being mad at him, they pull closer to the things of God. That's pretty remarkable, especially for not only for anyone to do that, but then for a man to continue to lead his family spiritually, when honestly, a lot of times, the spiritual side of a family is almost always left into the hands of the wife. And so for Scott to continue to embrace his faith, when he has every reason to blow off his faith and he's chosen not to, that's a powerful message, and I think that sends an incredible message to his children too.
Oh, he just likes to give. He just likes to give to people and make other people feel happy and thankful.
You know, everything you do in life, I think it's important to, you know, look outward and see where you can help people and do good. And people that don't do that have never experienced what it feels like. And it feels good. Yeah, nothing feels better than doing something good for somebody else.
I know that he admires people who are givers in the community because he imitates them so very well. I don't know if I know anybody who's just so naturally generous with his time, with his talents, with his resources, and just wanting to help for any cause.
When I met my wife, her father, who was only in his, I think, early 50s, was already dying from diabetes. He was already in the stages of renal failure where, you know, both of his kidneys weren't working anymore. I think this disease touches a lot of lives, and it can disrupt a family. And, you know, I just want to thank everyone for giving their money, giving their time, because, you know, your help, your money goes into research. It goes into trying to find a cure, trying to find better treatments. And in the end, it helps the family.
He's such a sportsman. I mean, man, he loves to play sports. He loves to support his kids playing sports. I think most of his fun now is going and just cheering on his own children.
In sports, when I do something wrong, he always corrects me, or if I do something right, he's always proud of me and encourages me.
I can tell him anything I want. He's like my best friend, and he doesn't really judge me, and he just says what he thinks, and what he thinks is usually right. So that's what I usually go by.
To hear them speak of him when he's not around is really impressive, because he's the real deal. Whether he's with them out in public or with them privately, he really puts their concerns first, and that's the making of a great dad.
I would like to really acknowledge my dad for always taking us over the weekends. We're barely here over the weekends because we have tennis tournaments, there's volleyball tournaments, and he's always willing to take us no matter what.
I think my dad is the awesomest dad in Corpus, and I'm really sure that he's the father of the year.